Hello everyone and welcome to our lecture on Excel formulas. In this lecture again we're going to work on a file called 2008 traffic data. You're going to have the access to it under the video. So once you open the file, make sure that you click on enable editing. So what does the formula mean? When we like to do extra calculation, we like to draw conclusion from it. In this types of data, it's given to me that class A calls cars and class B, C, and D, they are called trucks. Meaning that the total number here, when you add these three numbers, you get the number of trucks. Again, when I select these three, underneath showing the average 34, the count is 3, and sum is 102, right? It's just showing me for those three numbers. Now what I want to do, I'm going to just call this one, the call in G2, I'm going to call this car. I'm going to call the next column truck. So I know the car is equal to, whenever you put an equal sign in the beginning of any cell, so if you have a specific cell like this, and then you put the equal sign there, meaning that you want to type in a formula in there. Right, in this formula, there is not formula. I just want to refer to the value where I have in C2, right? So I click on the C2 because that's going to go over there. The class A will be car. Done. Now, it becomes weird, right? In the other video, we talk about how you can change the format. Now, it becomes as the format of time. In order to change the format, you can just simply click here and then make it general. So go to the Home tab and then click on the general. You make it a general value. Now, I want to do the calculation for the rest of them. So there are two ways. One way would be I can drag it down. The other way, you can double click on it. In this case, I have data on this side. I can go to this corner and double click. Okay, let me just talk about first dragging. What's the meaning of dragging? Now, once you put equal sign and then you finish your equation, in this case, my equation was C2. I want to populate this for the rest of the cells. I don't want to do everything manually, right? And put the equation is equal to C3, equal to C4. That goes forever. So you go to the bottom right corner, and then this side, it becomes a solid plus. Then you can drag that solid plus. Let me show you. I'm going to go to this corner. So let me just do a little bit zoom in. If I go to this corner, this becomes a solid plus, right? You wouldn't be exactly seeing that, but become like a black dot. I can drag that down. In this case, I have many datas. Again, I need to go for a couple of thousand. So let me see. Still working on it. Yeah, 4,000 data. So it would take a lot of time in this case to drag it down. What I could do, I could just double click on that corner. Right? If I double click on that corner, everything will be calculated to the bottom. Next one I want to do for truck. So truck is the summation of those three categories. So I could put the function sum or just simply click on them and add them, right? So this will be E2 plus F2 plus G2. So I click on every cell, those cells will be selected and then they would come here. So you paste it there. Again, you can see still something odd on it. You can see this become 12 a.m. You click on it, you go to the number and then make that general. So it will be general, double click on it, it becomes populated. So what other formulas I like to calculate? I like to summarize my data. Again, the question asked me, find the sum of cars in the month of March. I don't know what's the month of March is there. The date is given to me, but I have to go and select with the time or some specific question on the in Saturdays in the month of May, right? To find the sum for those. So for me to better clarify these types of question, I need to take out the month and then the Saturday and everything from the date, right? So let me just to call here, for instance, I'm going to call this one month. The next one I'm going to call it the day of week. So equation for the month. There are two ways you can treat this. You can Google it. You can go to formulas here and then for date and time and then looking for the equation, you can find equation of month, for instance, and it tells me where's your number. So in this case, my number is right at A2 and then you press OK. Again, it came at 12 a.m. again. I need to correct that. So I go back to the general and correct that. So month of January is month of 1. I can double click on it. This will be populated for the rest of it. Now, what other equation we have for month? If I don't want to go with this calculation of month, there is something called text. So if you want to use text, so there are two ways I can treat the days of the day. So one, I could use just simply use the month. And again, this example could February would be number 2, or I can use another function that you can use it as a text, and then this will give you a text back, like June. Like if I put A2 and then comma MMM. So let me tell you what do I mean with this. So in this case, instead of doing a month, I can just say that equal to text. So text is going to give me a text of what? Okay, text of this A2. What format do you want to get? I want to get the format of the month. So MMM. If you do 3 M's, that will be like a short month. If you do 4 M, that will be the long month. I'm going to do 4 M's. And then parentheses close. In this case, it gives me January and then the rest of them. Usually, I'm not going to do this because if you do create a text, the problem with text is that it's hard to analyze it later on. If you want to see what month goes to where, greater, equal, with the text will be more difficult. So I'm going to stick with that function, a month. For day of week, I'm going to use another function. It's called weekday. So it's going to say weekday. And then click on the serial number. In this case, serial number is this 11-2008, and then press OK. Again, another I have to make sure the format is OK. General, double click on it. So what does 3 mean? 3 means that remember on a day of week, it start on Sunday, right? If you look at the calendar, it start on Sunday and then go into Monday and then the rest of it. So Sunday will be 1, Monday will be 2. And then 3 is a Tuesday. So just to make sure that I'm doing okay, I can just do the same day of week using this function, text of this one, comma, for the month, for the day, I'm going to just use 3Ds. I can use 4Ds. So it came as a Tuesday. So I was right. So day 1 will be Sunday, and then after that it's going to go for the rest of the days. So the question asked me to find the sum on those specific dates. So how can I do that? Like if the question is asking me to find the sum of cards in the month of March. So what I could do, there are different ways I can treat that, but I could just simply do it. Filter the month of March. So again, we talked about the filter in the video before. You click on the data, click on the filter. So now I'm going to filter. You uncheck select all and then select only months of 3. So the question asked me to find the sum of cars. So I could just select this data, copy it to somewhere else, or I can have another function down there to do it for me. So again, different ways we can treat this. So, or you can just click on it. If I click on this, because you selected only months of 3, it gives me the sum of it is 123,441. So 123,441 car crossed that road on the month of March. Now, the next question was on the month of March and this weekday, day of week, right? So the month of May, and then asked me for a Saturday on month of May. So how can I do that calculation? If I want to get to that answer, so let me just put this answer here. So this answer was 123,441, 123,441. The next question asked me to find in months of May. So again, I can clear the filter from here. Next time I have to filter these 2 columns, right? I have to filter the day of week and month. I select those 2 columns. I click on the filter. Each of them, they have a triangle. I'm looking for the month of 5. So let me check off the select all, select 5, and then on the day of week of Saturday. Saturday is the day of week of 7. So now I can click on the car and then see what's the value for car is. On that month, 23,951. So in the month of May, on a Saturday, on all Saturdays in the month of May, could be 4 to 5 Saturdays, depending on where the start of the day is. I have 23,23951. So again, there are typical questions I can answer. One of the question that the other question that asked me, create a summary table of your data, and that summary table should represent the sum, the count, the average, the standard deviation, and much more. So for that purpose, I just give you like a little bit of brief idea of what does those stuff means, what the standard deviation means, what's the sum means. So let me go back to here. Average, you can simply know that if you wanted to calculate the average of a number, you just simply add them divided by the number of it. The count is going to count the numbers. Like for instance, you want to see how many missing data you have, how many times you don't have any recording. It's going to do the counting for us. A standard deviation, it's going to show how our data is spreaded from the mean. So meaning that like sometimes you have numbers, and then your numbers are like I use this example. The average of class could be B. We have two scenarios. One scenario, all the students they got B. The other scenario, you have some students they got A, some students they got C. There is no even B on it. So a standard deviation shows the variation of it, how distributed data away from the average. So it's going to give us a factor, and that factor will be into our calculation. For that, we can use the function stdev. Minimum and maximum, we can just use min and max. So let me create a summary table of our data down here. So I'm going to copy the heading here and then put the label here. Summary of date and time doesn't have any meaning, so I'm going to delete this. So I like to get the summary. Again, I could have a summary only as car and truck because I don't care about the classes either. So let me just to copy only car and truck. And I want to create a summary table of their sum, of the average. I want to do a standard deviation. I want to do a minimum and a maximum. So for cars, you can say equal to. Okay, the function that's used for sum is just simply called sum. Summation of, I can just simply click on the column where the car is. So it's going to include all of it. It say G through G, meaning that all of it. Okay, again, I'm going to fix the formatting of the data. Go back to home, change the formatting to general. So I can drag this to the side. So if I drag this to the right, it's going to go and calculate for the truck. Because remember, truck is just adjacent to the car. Again, it's hard to read. You can just click on it and then put the comma on there. So if you put the comma on there, you know that's the 2 million car and 3 million trucks crossing that road. So I want to calculate the average. So in order to calculate the average, you can say equal to average and then click on the column for the car, press OK, and then you drag it to the side. Again, what I could do, I could just change the format all in once. Just go and then make everything general. So to get rid of those problems. 55, you can see variation of trucks are more than cars. The average of the trucks are more than car. Again, the sum of it was more anyway. So the standard deviation would be stdev of column G. Then drag this to the side. I was right, the variation of trucks is even more than cars. And then minimum and maximum. So you can say minimum, the function of it is min, and then click on the column G, and same thing, drag it to the truck. The minimum is 0, and the max of the truck and the car, max. Click on this, and drag this to the side. You can drag it to the right, you can drag it to the bottom, and that's going to be your choice. So far in this video, we talk about the basics of how to create a function, how to write a function. But remember, there are all sorts of formulas here you can select from. If you want to select from trigonometry to date, time, financial, or sort of the functions are there. But the basic one, we'll cover them in the next video. So in the next video, we like to talk about if, how we can use if to create the formulas that doesn't exist. Thank you for watching.